can begin. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair Huffman, Vice Chair Hinojosa, and members of the committee. I'm Harrison Keller. I'm President of the University of North Texas, and I'm delighted to be back before you today in my new role to testify on UNT's legislative priorities. So I'd like to say that while it was a difficult decision for me to leave my role as Commissioner of Higher Education, I am deeply grateful for everything we were able to accomplish together, especially the historic investments that you made in higher education during the 88th legislative session. So Texas led the nation in...
Can you speak a little louder? We're just
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Perfect.
So Texas led the nation in new investments last session in higher education, and those investments really underscore the state's recognition of and commitment to the value of higher education and its critical importance to our economy. So now fast forward to today, and I'm 6 months into my presidency at UNT, and I feel incredibly honored to lead our great university during a pivotal time for our region and for our state. North Texas is the #1 region in the country for population growth. We add about 400 people per day. It's also the #1 region in the country for job growth. So we've added nearly 500,000 jobs during the past 5 years, and as the largest university in that nation, in that region, and the 4th largest in our state, we are uniquely well positioned to help power our economy and drive the competitiveness of the North Texas region. So UNT, as the Chancellor mentioned, is already a thriving Carnegie R1 public research university. We have more than 46,000 students, nearly 13,000 graduates each year. About 42% of my students are first-generation college students, and about 48% of my students are Pell-eligible students. And we believe in the fundamental responsibility that we have as a public university to advance the public good, to expand opportunities for our students, our communities, our state, and our economy. We are committed to working closely with you all as policymakers, with our employers, with our outstanding community colleges, and with other universities to help understand and address our educational workforce needs, and also to expand professional opportunities for UNT graduates and alumni. We have recently updated and reformed our own internal budget structure to reward our academic units when students graduate faster and with a credential of value, taking inspiration, of course, from the state's strategic plan for building a talent-strong Texas. And most importantly, we're deeply committed to every UNT student's success, from our first contact with them through their time with us and into their early career. We need to make sure that they acquire the kind of knowledge, skills, the experiences, including internships, that enable them to accelerate into meaningful and prosperous lives. Now, as we move into the legislative session, I look forward to working with each of you to help maintain our momentum in higher education and build on the important foundations you've already laid last session. First, I would like to thank you all for the significant investment Senate Bill 1 already proposes to support UNT and higher education. So in particular, I want to call out that you provided the necessary resources to address the trip backlog, and that's been an incredibly effective tool to help increase private philanthropy in support of ours and other universities' research enterprises. So we're delighted to see that those commitments would be matched in your proposal, and thank you. And also, as Chancellor Williams mentioned, we're deeply appreciative of your foresight in creating the Texas University Fund and that continued commitment to the Texas University Fund that was included in Senate Bill 1. So at UNT, just to give you a sense of what the impact has been on that, just within 1 year of tough funding, so UNT has been able to exceed our first year of required research expenditures to meet the level 1 funding requirements. And we're using those funds to prioritize investments in interdisciplinary collaborations and in innovations that align with the legislature's priorities in areas like space and aerospace technologies, cancer, and semiconductors, and other areas. Tough funding is going to continue to play an integral role in allowing us to accomplish our shared goals for higher education while continuing to drive innovation in the Texas economy. So thank you for making that possible. So next, I'd like to talk briefly through our legislative priorities. Of course, as Chancellor mentioned, support for base operations funding through the funding formulas and through infrastructure support is critical, especially for high-growth institutions like UNT. So if you look since 2015, UNT's enrollment increased by more than 9,500 students. So in fact, from 2019 to 2023, new UNT students made up more than half of all of the state's total enrollment growth in universities, about 52%. And we are committed to continue to serve every qualified student who commits to learn with us. And that increase in our enrollment leads to a need for more facilities, and it heightens the need for critical maintenance and modernization of our infrastructure. So given the need for updated space to perform advanced research and modern teaching spaces, those increased investments in HEAF would be critical to making sure our students have access to the resources they need to thrive. There's also two exceptional items that I'll highlight. So our first exceptional item request is for the Texas Talent Pipeline Initiative. So of course, our population is projected to grow to more than 35 million people over the next decade, and that growth has been especially pronounced in the North Texas region. And our workforce needs are changing incredibly fast, and faster in many cases than we expected. And at the same time, as more families and businesses choose to relocate to Texas, we are seeing our out-of-state institutions be increasingly aggressive in recruiting our best and brightest students to pursue their higher education elsewhere. So in fact, just in the Metroplex that we know of, there are more than 300 out-of-state higher education institutions that have active recruiting offices. For us to maintain our competitive advantage and fuel the kind of high-skilled talent pipeline that we require, we're going to have to provide more top-tier higher education opportunities to help retain those students and make sure they have the kind of skills and credentials they need for tomorrow's jobs. So the Texas Talent Pipeline request that we made would enable us to be a far more effective workforce engine to help fulfill the skilled workforce demands of the state and the North Texas region. So in particular, it would support high-impact programs and services to meet the needs of our students, our employers. That would include growing academic programs in high-demand fields like data analytics, computer science, engineering, and national and economic security. Also helping us develop and expand student success services to improve retention and graduation rates and help get those career graduates into the workforce much more quickly and efficiently, and also driving innovation and academic excellence through interdisciplinary research, curricular innovation, and strategic partnerships with other universities, including our friends at the Texas Women's University, community colleges, employers, chambers, and other partners to make sure that we're working together to bolster our Texas talent pipeline. Our second request would be for UNT's Center for Integrated Intelligent Mobility Systems. So UNT is a leader in supply chain and the development of new autonomous logistics systems. So by investing in that center, UNT can help position Texas as a global leader in developing and deploying intelligent mobility systems and training the workforce that we need for an autonomous and increasingly automated future. So again, I want to thank you all for the opportunity to come before you this afternoon to discuss our priorities. We are committed to meeting the state's needs to produce the skilled graduates that our economy needs, and appreciate the state's continued partnership and support. And I look forward to working with each of you as we move through the 89th legislative session, and would be happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Hey, thank you for your presentation. I do not see any questions. Thank you very much for being here. We will move on to UNT at Dallas, Dr. Warren von Eschenbach. Yeah, Dallas.